Welcome into One-on-One live on Sunlink Channel 112 and live from Studio 318. I am Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosher. As always, a lot of stuff to get to, some big extensions taking place in Major League Baseball. Yep. Bryce Harper is making Washington, D.C. even worse because he's getting the last laugh, at least so far. Westbrook has a historic night. We'll get it in the fourth segment. We're going to get to what a joke the Naismith Hall of Fame Honors Committee, or whatever they call themselves. They're not good at their job, and I'll tell you why coming up in the fourth segment. But let's start in the Alliance of American Football. They have not completely folded, but they have shut down all operations.
They've all but folded at this point.
As of Tuesday. We talked about it. They made it 8 weeks. We talked about when Tom Dundon, obviously the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, invested $250 million, the $250 million investment. He stands to only lose $70 million. I say only $70 million because I'll never see $70 million in my life, but that's a lot less than $250 on an 8-week investment.
Right.
But it's still not good to lose that much money. He didn't assume the debt that they had before he took over the league. And I believe on Monday's show we talked about how, he had said, if we don't get help from the NFLPA, we're going to fold. Why do you think the league is folding?
I think partly because the NFL doesn't want it to be. They don't want any kind of competitor. I don't know if the NFL just doesn't see it as a developmental league or what, but I don't think the NFL wants this around. I don't think the NFL wants the XFL around either, for that matter. But we can wait. We'll wait a whole nother year before that league folds, Reed.
It's got to start before it can end.
Yeah, right. I also think, I don't know, maybe they didn't invest their money. I don't think they invested their money wisely to start, because they had money problems from day one. From past week one, they basically needed a savior to come in, and one of the owners of one of the teams came in and basically bought the league, and now that money seems to have dried up. So I think a lot of it has to do with the way they invested their money, the way they went about creating the league, and I also think the NFL is just letting it die. They don't want any part of it. I think those are the two main contributors to it folding.
Well, let's play some Alliance of American Football trivia.
Okay, I bet I'll get none of these right.
Who finishes as the all-time wins leader?
Johnny Manziel.
Hell, he lasted about 3 drives and got a concussion.
Yeah.
Steve Spurrier of Orlando, the old ball coach, can add this to a long list of great things he's done. Heisman Trophy, won a national championship, and the one that matters most, the all-time wins leader in the Alliance of American Football. What about the leader in pass yards?
I'm just going to say Johnny Manziel for all of these. I don't know who else is in the league.
Garrett Gilbert from Orlando, 2,152 yards. I will ask you a couple more.
Okay.
What about pass TDs?
Same guy from Orlando?
John Walford from Arizona, 14 touchdowns. What about rush yards? Jarrell Presley of Arizona, 431 rush yards. Trent Richardson, the name you probably do know, finishes with the all-time record with rush TDs with 11. What was my point of asking you those things?
I knew who one of those guys was.
Bingo. This is not a developmental league that people care about.
Yeah.
Minor league baseball has been institutionalized with, the majors forever.
Right.
You don't have to know these people. They don't get big crowds, but the league bankrolls them. The league supports them, and they get sent down. They work their way up, and then they get called up to the majors. There's maybe 2 people in this league, maybe, that have shown that they're good enough to play in the National Football League. The NFLPA doesn't care. You're perfectly right. If the NFL wanted to see it work, it would have worked. If they wanted to see it fail, they let it fail, and they're letting it fail. I don't think even if the NFLPA lended them players, it would have worked.
Yeah.
Because there's just not enough people in here who cares about Steve Spurrier winning 7 games at Orlando. Yeah. No one cares about the Apollos. Outside of that, do you know one mascot in this league? No one else does. No one watched outside of the first week. It's just they don't have enough money to go around. And Johnny Manziel, who played, 1 quarter in this league, was perfectly right. He tweeted this: if you're an AAF player and the league does dissolve, the last check you got will be the last check that you get. No lawsuit or anything else will get you your bread. Save your money and keep your head up. It's the only choice at this point unless something drastic happens. Just the reality of this unfortunate situation. Great concept, good football, on the field and fun to watch. Just not enough money to go around, which has been the main problem with, in quotes, other leagues for a long time. That's the problem. They said the first year they would pay $70,000, second year $80,000, and get to 6 figures in the third year. They didn't even make it to that $70,000 because they folded with 2 weeks remaining in the regular season.
Wow.
So it's unfortunate, but it's just there's not enough life in this league to make it work, and there never will be. The same will happen with the XFL. Unless the XFL gives people, like weapons to play with. Seriously, they're going to have to do something like
outrageous.
They did. And they're, obviously, with Oliver Luck, they're trying to be more like the Alliance of American Football and, be a developmental league, be a league that people want to watch. But the XFL is only going to survive on being a ridiculous league, and that's simply not going to happen.
Yeah, if the NFL doesn't want it, it won't happen. I think that's the rule basically with football from here on out. The NFL's become way too powerful. They own too much of the market. They have too much control over all of it. And it's like you said, if you're good enough to play in the NFL, you're in the NFL.
Right.
There's never been a farm system. There's never been a developmental league. And at this point, it seems a little bit too late to try and develop something like that. After what is this, the 100th season coming up?
Right.
Never had a developmental league.
If it's ever going to work, it's going to be the National Football League.
Yes.
Starting the developmental league.
Yeah, it'll be whatever they want to call it. It'll be their version of it. But I don't think they'll ever make anything like that. Just because, what's the point? You already know who's the best. Coming out, like if you're good enough, you can work out for a team, make a practice squad. That's the more developmental league for the NFL is the practice squad. It seems like that's where you can really prove yourself and make a real roster. So I don't know if there'll ever be anything like a developmental league for the NFL.
Well, unfortunately, Charlie Ebersol and Bill Polian, the co-founders of this league, I legitimately think that they thought that Tom Dundon was going to save this league, at least played out through and I don't know what Tom Dundon was thinking when he invested in this league. Because certainly the writing had to be on the wall for Dundon, but he puts the $250 million in. Like I said, he stands to lose $70 million. Thanks to Darren Ravel for the tweets that give you the money figures. But like I said, only lasted.
That's the first time you've ever complimented Darren Ravel,
and it will probably be the last. This is the quote from Bill Polian. I am extremely disappointed to learn Tom Dundon has decided to suspend all football operations of the Alliance of American Football. When Mr. Dundon took over, it was the belief of my co-founder, Charlie Ebersol, and myself that we would finish the season, pay our creditors, and make the necessary adjustments to move forward in a manner that made economic sense for all. The momentum generated by our players, coaches, and football staff had us all well positioned for future success. Regrettably, we will not have that opportunity. So that kind of answers my next question. Yeah. Will the league find a way to survive? Because they are not totally dead, but they are barely have a pulse.
Yeah, I don't think so. Outside of like another huge investment, which I don't see coming in. I don't know how they can survive. So I think we've seen. Oh, I didn't see it, but we've seen the last of the Alliance of American Football. I know you were a big fan, Reed. It was every Saturday. Or did they play on Sunday? I don't even know.
They played like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, the game, and they had decent TV contracts, and it wasn't terrible football.
Right.
But the problem is, no one grew up cheering for the Birmingham Iron.
Right.
No one cares. There's no allegiance.
Yeah.
There's no fan base. By the way, their stuff on their website has not gone on sale, but I'm sure it will be. But if you want to buy a Trent Richardson jersey for $90, simply AllianceAmericanFootball.com.
Okay.
Hit them up, and they've got plenty of merchandise still for sale.
Full price. I like it.
So
they're not giving up.
So the league, I imagine it'll probably just completely fold, and you can find a lot of AAF gear in your local thrift store in the 8 cities that they were in. So I don't think it's going to find a way to survive. Tom Dundon's going to lose $70 million and go back to being a regular NHL owner who no one's heard of.
Yep. He'll be happy with his other mediocre franchise.
Well, I'm sure if you've got $250 million to throw around, life's not that difficult for Mr. Dundon. So
if he keeps spending his money like this, it might become pretty difficult.
True. How long do you think it'll be before it's completely done, just over?
Like they formally close?
Yeah, it's over now.
Yeah.
But the final announcement, it's done.
I think a week.
I think it'll
Maybe
probably be
2.
a month before they.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a legal situation here.
You're probably right. Yeah.
But actually, I'll refer to Darren Ravel once. He did tweet officially the last check that they got. Johnny Manziel tweeted that they're not getting paid anymore. And there's nothing they can do. It's over. That was their last paycheck. So Russell Wilson is getting a paycheck now, but he wants more. He wants a larger paycheck. He stands to make $17 million this year, be about a $25 million hit on the cap. He's currently on a 4-year, $87.4 million deal, but he wants a new extension. He gave the Seahawks a deadline of April 15th, which is smart.
Yeah.
This isn't a deadline, hey, get it done or I'm not showing up. No, it's the first day of minicamp, and he doesn't want that to be hanging over. So he will not negotiate after April 15th. He said he will play, though. I think that's all you can ask for from Russell Wilson.
And I think that just kind of proves what kind of guy he is. He's always that kind of guy. He's not about himself first. He's about the team. He deserves a new contract. He deserves more money. He's played at a really high level. Going into the season, I thought Seattle was going to be one of the worst teams. Or not one of the worst teams, but I didn't think they had a shot of making the playoffs just because of the way their roster was built, how they tore the defense apart. And it was just Russell Wilson and, Doug Baldwin and I don't even know who else. They didn't have a great running game.
The Griffin brothers.
Yeah, that's true. But I didn't see them having a shot at making the playoffs. And Russell Wilson played really, really well. And he's only 30 years old, so, giving him a new contract isn't like giving Tom Brady a 5-year extension or something like that. Like, he still has some good years left. So I could see him wanting a new extension, be rightfully compensated for what he does for the team. So, and I'm glad he's not trying to make it all about himself and not show up to camp or not play if he doesn't get that new deal.
Well, I hate to say that he will be the highest paid quarterback, and that won't last because
everyone's the highest paid quarterback for a week or two.
Right now, it's Aaron Rodgers makes around $35 million a year. That would be a big
jump. You think
he'll
get $35 million a year?
I don't think he will. That's what Rodgers makes, and he's the highest paid.
Okay.
I don't think he will, but what kind of money do you think? I think it'll be around $31 million.
I was thinking like somewhere between 25 and 27 million. I think that's what I think he's trying to think. Aaron Rodgers is better than him. Tom Brady's still probably better than him.
I would put Russell Wilson as a top 4 quarterback because of how mobile he is. The size has never really come into a factor for him. He's a phenomenal leader.
Yeah.
It turns out that defense, none of them liked him, and no one likes them either.
I was about to say they seem to be the problem on their own separate teams now.
But he's got a Super Bowl. He would have too if he simply just handed the football off. But that wasn't his call. That was Pete Carroll's. But Pete Carroll can coach. I think he'll get around $30 million, and I think they'll get the deal done before April 15th.
I hope so. If they don't, is he gone after this year?
No, he'll make sure to stay. They will make sure to get it done. It's just whether or not it's
before
by this
or after,
deadline.
Yeah.
Right. And you never really want to play on a contract deal. You you really don't want to risk it.
Right.
But staying in the NFL, former Oklahoma State Cowboy defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah, drafted by the Cleveland Browns 3 years ago, traded to the Kansas City Chiefs for Eric Murray. 12.5 sacks for the Browns in 3 seasons. Started every game, and he's third in the league in pass deflections at the line over the past few seasons. I don't think he'll be a starter in Kansas City, but a good role player. They essentially traded nothing for him. I think that's a good deal for the Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go.
I will not complain. Not
okay,
yet.
I was wondering what your thoughts were whenever I saw that trade.
It's a good deal, not a great deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't act like he's going to transcend a championship season, but he will add some depth and some help. So we're going to take a quick break and come back and talk about a historic night from Russell Westbrook and everything going on in the NBA. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-one is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back into One-on-One live on Sunlink Channel 112. It's your favorite topic, Logan, the NBA.
Yep.
The Thunder clinch the playoffs for the 9th time in 10 seasons. I don't think they're going anywhere, but it cannot be understated the importance of making the playoffs again for this franchise. Really, the first season was an absolute disaster. The transition to Oklahoma City, the trajectory that they put the franchise on and the way they drafted is one of the most misunderstood stories on how incredible it is in all of sports. The Thunder haven't won a title. They've been to a final. But outside of that first season, when have the Thunder been a bad basketball team other than right now? But for a full season, when have they been bad? You just have to be impressed.
You can point it, like, obviously the last time the Thunder missed the playoffs was that year Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. I feel like they missed a combined season. I feel like they missed 82 games together. And, you know, they only missed it by one game, and that was because Anthony Davis hit a crazy three-pointer in a game. I can't remember. It was in like February or something like that, and then ended up being the tiebreaker. Then the Pelicans went on to play the Warriors in the first round and got swept. But yeah, you can't point at a whole season where they've been bad. They've been playing really bad lately, but still a playoff team.
Well, how many people in Orlando, Brooklyn, how many Knicks fans, Lakers fans now would love to have the storyline of the Oklahoma City Thunder, to love to have those issues that the Thunder have.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I think a lot of Thunder fans have. I don't know if it's underappreciated, but it's definitely not talked about a lot, how this franchise continues. They're not like the Spurs. They haven't made the playoffs for 20 straight years, but they're always in the hunt for a playoff spot. And, the last couple of years with Kevin Durant, they were, and even part of this year, they were talked about as a title contender for all of those years. And obviously, you can look at a bunch of different years in the playoffs where, the Ibaka injury, the Westbrook injury, they seem to be a what if. Maybe the Thunder could have won a title if those guys didn't get injured in those seasons. But, it's a great run they're on right now, continuing the streak. We'll have to see. They have to pick it up. They have to play a lot better if they want to make, any noise in the playoffs. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can win a playoff series because they're going to be a 7 or an 8.
I think a matchup with the Warriors, I don't think they could win. I think it'd be a lot of fun. It'd be great content for you and me to talk about. Denver is different. Denver's so young that I could see, guys like Russell Westbrook and Paul George who have been in the playoffs. They know how to win playoff series. Maybe not. They don't know how to win together based on what happened last year, but I could see there being a potential upset there. I would rather see the Nuggets than the Warriors.
Well, I don't think the Nuggets or the Warriors want to have to play the Oklahoma City Thunder in round 1 of the playoffs.
No.
There's potential there, and you can't shy away from how good the Thunder can be.
Right.
Ultimately, they've lost to the Nuggets 7, 8 straight times in a row. The Warriors, they had them against the wall, and then Kevin Durant went to Golden State, and it's never really been a competition since then. But it would not be an exciting first-round matchup for either of those teams. Even though they haven't been able to beat the the Nuggets in a while, I think that's their best chance. But do you think they have a chance at winning a playoff series? Because it's going to be against one of those two teams more than likely.
There's always a chance.
Would you put money down on it?
I wouldn't.
No, that's with me. They're good enough. It's a scary matchup for either team. But ultimately, if they're playing like this, no.
I would like to see how Kevin Durant performs in a playoff environment in OKC. I think he would be great. I don't think he's fazed by what the fans say anymore. I don't think it bothers him on the court. It might bother him off the court, but it doesn't affect his play. So, I think that would probably be the matchup I would want to see the most, just for the entertainment value of it. And plus, it could. I don't think it would lessen the Warriors' chances of winning a title, but it would certainly make it a lot tougher.
Yeah, it would be difficult, but I don't think there's any chance that they win a playoff series. I don't, and I think that Billy Donovan is going to be fired as a result of it.
Yeah, that's been the most frustrating thing. With all the talent they've had, they've never had a great coach. And that's why I think coaching matters in the NBA, because you have Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, if you're Scott Brooks, for quite a long time. You had James Harden for a little bit too, but he didn't become what he was in OKC.
Right.
You had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook arguably playing their best basketball of their careers at one point in time, and you just can't get over the hump. And you look at how teams like the Warriors run a special kind of offense, how the Spurs do it, how the Celtics did it up until this year. It seems to have stalled, but the Thunder have never had anything like that. They've never had a coach who can draw up a play for out of bounds that is guaranteed to get an easy basket. It was always Kevin Durant, you take your turn going one-on-one with your guy, and then Russell Westbrook, your turn, go one-on-one with your guy. And that's kind of how it is with OKC now. It's just Paul George instead of Kevin Durant. So who they hire from here, I don't know. I don't know who's out there on the open market that can help them make it to that next level. So I agreed Billy Donovan probably has to be let go at the end of the year, but I don't know. I feel like any other coach is either a lateral move or a downward move. I don't see a coach out there that's looking for a job that can take them to the next level.
I mean, last night, it's a minute after halftime, they have to call a timeout. Like, what
Yeah.
did you just
Yeah.
do for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And that's what's so frustrating about the Thunder is they have issues that they should not be having.
Yep.
And it's continued through multiple coaches. And I don't think it's Sam Presti's fault, but somebody's got to be to blame for it, and I think it's ultimately going to be Billy Donovan. But they get a 119-103 win over the Lakers last night without LeBron James. But Westbrook has a historic night, 20 points, 20 rebounds, and
Yeah.
21 assists. It's not a true 2020 night. I mean, the last minute, I'll give it to him, but the last minute, he going to get rebounds. But it's hard to do what he did.
Yeah.
He's the first person to do it since Will Chamberlain. I'm not going to be that petty and take it away from him. But that was an incredible night from Russell Westbrook.
You could tell he definitely wanted it, and after the game, he dedicated it to Nipsey Hussle, the rapper from Los Angeles that was murdered a couple of days ago. So, I don't think he was chasing it just for himself. I think he was trying to do something special for Nipsey. And I mean, like you said, it's hard to do. You can talk about him being in the game late to grab rebounds. He wanted them. He wanted them bad, and it's really hard to do. I was so impressed with was it 21 assists? Yeah, 21 assists. That's hard to do, period. Because, the guy still has to make the shot.
By the way, did you see his dad? His dad looks younger than Russell Westbrook.
His dad is ripped.
He looks younger than Russell. He's Russell too, although as well.
I saw
Russell
someone
Westbrook the third.
Someone on Twitter called him Muscle Westbrook.
he look at him. He looks like he's 25.
Yeah.
But anyways, Russell Westbrook has an incredible night. Obviously, you mentioned dedicated the game to Nipsey Hussle. But I loved, people are like, did Steven Adams miss the free throw? And they ask him about it. He's like, assume I did. He's a 51% free throw shooter.
Right.
So
he's not a great free throw shooter.
The great saying is either I do or I don't. It's 50-50. Steven Adams is literally 50-50.
Steven Adams was 1 for 7 that night. So maybe he missed them all on purpose, Yeah, I don't think you can say he missed them on purpose because you see guys try to miss free throws on purpose, and what happens? It goes in. We saw it in the Final Four, or in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, every Russell Westbrook or every Steven Adams free throw looks like he is trying to miss it.
Yeah,
it's just the way they look.
Yeah, it seemed for a while he had improved, but he has just hit rock bottom on his free throw shooting as of late.
Yeah,
which could really be a problem come playoff time. If you can't leave him out there, he's not a great shot blocker, but he's a great presence around the rim. He's great at changing shots and being there. If you can't play him at the end of games because he can't hit free throws, that really hurts the Thunder. Because who else are they going to play? Markieff Morris? Nerlens Noel, he's not a great free throw shooter either. He has to pick that up and be able to stay on the floor if the Thunder want to have success like we were talking about earlier.
Well, it's certainly an interesting storyline to see what Steven Adams will be able to do in the playoffs. But another interesting playoff storyline that could, become apparent for the Golden State Warriors, obviously, is the fact that Kevin Durant gets his 15th tech last night. Draymond Green also has 15 techs. They're one technical away from each getting a one-game suspension. Now, you're my NBA genius here. If they get that, say they don't get teed up for the rest of the regular season, but they get teed up in the playoffs, is that a one-game suspension in the playoffs?
It resets in the playoffs.
Okay.
So, Russell Westbrook's at 16. He's at 16. So, once they hit the postseason, it goes back to 0. And I can't remember. It's not the same number in the playoffs. I'll find that for you real quick, but it does reset in the playoffs.
So it's probably not a legitimate worry for the Golden State Warriors because they haven't completely locked up the 1 seed, but they beat Denver last night, and they're probably pretty comfortable going into the postseason being the number 1 seed.
Yeah, absolutely. And when they turn it on, Reed, it's just over. We can talk about, the Thunder, that's a tough first-round matchup for them. They could be a potential upset. Or, the Rockets last year, they're great. When they turn it on, Reed, it's over. There's nothing they can do.
Well, they tried to turn it on in that overtime versus the Timberwolves, and obviously the result of that game, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry are all fined for criticizing Green, $35,000, and he had the cryptic tweets of the initials of compared the official to Tim Donahue, which is offensive as it gets. Steph Curry, $25,000, and Durant, $15,000. That's pocket change to these guys. But jumping back to that Minnesota game, I completely agree with the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
That was the biggest
awful
joke of officiating I've ever seen in the NBA.
Yeah, that was awful. I'm seeing six or seven in the playoffs, and you get a 1-game suspension.
So Draymond Green and Russell Westbrook probably
Could get suspended. They could get suspended in the first round.
There's potential there, but do you agree with the fines?
Yeah, you have to
For the rule.
Just for the rule, because they were right, but they still went after the refs like that. So you got to hit them with a fine. I'm sure they don't care.
No,
I'm sure they think $25,000 is worth whatever they had to say.
Well, when you're on a $200 million deal, they make that in like the first quarter of a game.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about whether the Dallas Mavericks should be worried about the Porzingis allegations and some more people are getting paid in Major League Baseball. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
Welcome back into One-on-One. Obviously, we see Kristaps Porzingis there with Carmelo. Oh, Knicks, they were laughing. They must have got a win. So, obviously, he's traded to the Dallas Mavericks before the trade deadline this year. He's still out with the torn ACL, but let's go back to the night he did tear that ACL. And now the allegations are that he, assaulted a woman when she, in just a weird story. If the story has no credibility, you don't ever want to go far as saying somebody is lying about something.
Right.
But she didn't even contact the police. She went directly to the Knicks legal team and tried to mediate a $68,000 payout.
Right.
And it looks like the documents that he signed are forged. This was a bit of a worry when the news first broke.
Right.
For Kristaps Porzingis and the Dallas Mavericks, especially with the way the Mavericks have handled some things in their front office and their organization. Morally, they've been questioned. Should they be? They've had to, donate to charity and stuff like that. But I don't think this is a worry for Kristaps Porzingis and the Dallas Mavericks. It looks like this is kind of a fraudulent story.
Yeah, like you said, you can't just flat out say she's lying until the investigation's over because it could have happened. We don't know, but. You do have to, if you're the Mavericks especially, you have to tread lightly around this situation, handle it the right way. And I think they've done that so far, He's not with the team, but that's not because they've dismissed him or anything like that. That's so he can deal with the situation in his own time with his own, because it's not like he's going to be missing games because of this.
Right.
He's going to be missing games because he's rehabbing from his ACL injury. But, hopefully, whatever this is, whatever the situation is, it gets solved, justice is served, and he can go back to playing basketball whenever the time is right. It's unfortunate that this has to come out, after he's been traded. Reportedly, the Knicks told the Mavericks about the investigation before they traded him, and they were fine with it. And the NBA Players Association has even come out and said, with all the evidence that's presented before us, we stand with Kristaps Porzingis. So, I mean, it seems like the Mavericks are fine with it. The Knicks seem to be fine with it, too. They didn't seem to have any issue with that. And
Right.
the Players Association, they're behind him. And I know those are all people who have an interest in being
Right.
are sided with Kristaps
Right.
Porzingis. But you look at the documents possibly being forged, the not going to the police, going straight for what she said was a college fund for her brother that Porzingis offered to set up for him. There's not a ton of credibility to it.
No, it's a
So,
weird story.
You hope this gets solved quickly.
And Rick Carlisle offered Kristaps Porzingis
Yeah.
the time away from the team, and Porzingis said no.
Yeah.
Certainly, everyone's known about this for a while. It's just now getting out in the media. So I don't think there's any worry from the Dallas Mavericks, but a story certainly to follow there.
Yeah.
Out in L.A., obviously they lose to the Thunder last night. LeBron James.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness the Thunder could beat a team that didn't have Kyle Kuzma and didn't have LeBron. Sorry.
The team that was never going to, player that would never shut it down. He would play till the end.
Yep.
Has shut it down to heal the groin injury that's been there
Since Christmas.
since Christmas. Do you agree with shutting it down?
Yeah.
Because
What's the point? What's the point of him playing? You need to lose at this point if you're the Lakers. You're trying to get as good of a draft position as you can. Landon actually sent me this crazy theory, and I kind of agree with it. They have all these one-year deals. They're going to have a lot of space for the summer. Going to get Kawhi.
No.
They're tanking.
They were going to get Paul George, too.
That's true. But they're tanking, and they're going to get the number 1 overall pick, and they're going to get Zion.
Listen.
Frozen envelope.
I get the Patriots have had ridiculous success. The Red Sox have been incredible. The Yankees have 27 titles. The Lakers, the Celtics. If the Los Angeles Lakers get LeBron and Zion, I will refuse to watch the NBA. Listen, people say, "Oh, I can't watch the NBA because the Golden State Warriors are so unwatchable." They're the biggest NBA fans that watch TNT like 7 times a week. Okay, this would be the worst thing for the NBA. It'd be great for the Lakers. It'd be great for marketing. It probably is the best thing actually for the NBA. But I don't want any part of Zion and LeBron on the same team. No, you're gonna have like $800 billion locked up in shoes, 2 pairs of shoes on the court at the same time. But this would be the most Lakers thing ever. Listen, the lottery system was rigged for the Knicks anyways.
Frozen envelope.
I mean, this thing has been a bunch of fraudulent stuff from the beginning. This would be the most NBA thing ever for the Lakers to get the first overall
It would,
pick.
and I would love it. Because, Reed, let me run a list of players by you, and let me see who you want Zion to play with. Would you want him to play with Devin Booker, guy who shoots all the time?
No.
Would you want him to play with Frankie Smokes in New York?
No.
Or how about Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton in Cleveland?
No, probably not.
Zach LaVine in
No.
Chicago? Jabari Parker?
No.
Uh,
I tell you who I wanted to play with. I wanted to play with Trey Jones and R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish for one more year at Duke.
yeah, that would be great. And then I'll run some that are actually probably good pairings. Or him and Luka, that would be awesome.
That would be fun.
Dallas is currently second worst in the West, but I think they're technically 6th in lottery standings. Anyway, Jaren Jackson Jr., Mike Conley in Memphis. I think that would be fun. And then LeBron.
And Trey Young. Let's send him to Atlanta.
I don't know. What would be the worst? Actually, no, never mind. I was going to say, what would be the worst if the Mavericks pick turned out to be number 1, but the Hawks got it, but it's top 5 protected, I think. So thank goodness that wouldn't happen. I can't stand Trey Young, Reed. I could go on forever about that. But anyway.
Well, hey, you go on all you want about the Rookie of the Year, but
He's not the Rookie of the Year, Reed. We talked about this last week.
He will be the Rookie of the Year.
He will not.
He will be the Rookie of the Year.
Everyone in the media would love it if he were Rookie of the Year. Reed, you remember when he hit that game winner last weekend?
I do.
He got frozen out the last couple possessions. He takes such bad shots sometimes, Reed. It's just like at Oklahoma. I don't think his teammates like him that much.
Did they win the game?
They did. They did. They beat the
Sounds
Bucks
like
without
a Rookie of
Giannis.
the Year to me.
Oh my goodness, Reed.
You're too close to Dallas is what the problem is.
I am from Dallas, Reed. I'm from
getting,
Clinton, Dallas.
You're getting caught up in all of this.
Suburb of Dallas.
All these Dallas students we have around here are getting into your head. It's becoming a real issue. It's becoming a real issue. Trae Young, Rookie of the Year.
Oh my gosh, Reed. You can't do this to me.
Change
Luka's
my
team
mind.
has won more games.
Change my mind.
Luka has a better record.
By what? 2 games?
3.
3 games.
That's better.
Probably in a better situation in Dallas, though, right?
Until they traded everyone away.
I don't know. I think Trae Young has definitely made a second half push that might get him this award. I think it may happen.
You're pushing my buttons, Reed.
Well, the voters are really going to push your buttons.
They
when
are,
it happens.
Reed. You know, I wish I had a vote. Just so I could. I wish I had a vote on who could vote. Because if anyone votes for Trae Young, that's ridiculous.
Hey.
Okay.
Would you be shocked if he won?
Yes, I would. It would be ridiculous.
I would not be shocked if he won.
I would be so upset. If Trae Young wins Rookie of the Year this year, I will act like that award does not exist anymore. Ben Simmons should have not won it. Joel Embiid should not even been in consideration.
Yeah,
for
he was a
Rookie of the
50.
Year. He was a third-year player that played 30 games, and he got second.
Hey,
this award is
I don't
people
think
that vote are
the politics.
ridiculous.
The politics of the NBA, though, will try and give this to Trae Young.
They will.
They will. That's why I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year. I'm with you. I don't legitimately think it's fun to press your buttons on the Trae Young stuff.
Yeah.
It's too easy. But
It is.
honestly, I don't think he deserves it. You don't think he deserves
Right.
it. And Luka Doncic does deserve it.
Absolutely.
But who runs more politics than the NBA? Nobody. Trae Young is going to end up winning the Rookie of the Year. It's going to happen.
It will no longer be an award that holds any weight ever if Trae Young wins, it's ridiculous.
I think it may happen. I honestly think it might happen.
Ugh.
We're going to have to start having Trae Young, Luka Doncic updates every show to see who's going to win it. But let's move on. We'll transition to baseball here. By the way, we'll get into Lonzo Ball's lawsuit on Friday.
Okay.
Because I'm going to have to read up on, get my legal studies done before Friday's show. But he is suing, obviously, former Big Baller co-founder Alan Foster.
Yeah.
So let's jump into baseball. The Braves and Ronald Acuna agree on an 8-year, $100 million extension. That's chump change according to the rest of the Major League Baseball, but that is a huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a huge deal. He's the youngest player ever to sign a $100 million deal. Obviously, NL Rookie of the Year last year, batted .296, 26 home runs, and 64 RBIs.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
You're 21. I'm 21 as well. He's 21. $100 million deal. He's already making bank, by the way.
Right.
But
$100 million. That would actually probably be bad if I got $100 million. I don't know what I would spend it on, but
you would spend all your money trying to convince voters.
I would.
You would pay off. You would buy Luka an award, is what you would do. But I think that's a good deal for the Braves. Obviously, if he's on, keeps with the trend that he's been on, he's going to be worth a lot more than $100 million. But I think that's a good deal. Will be up by the time he's 30, and you could extend him again there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm glad he got the money already, but it's crazy that he's not going to reach free agency until he's 30 years old. That's smart for the team, I guess.
For being from Venezuela, I think for him, it seems like Atlanta's a comfort deal. He's really happy being in Atlanta, and they've brought him up.
Yeah.
And I think he's happy being there.
I think so. And they have a great young roster. I thought they were going to try and, keep it as cheap as possible when they were, building around this young roster, especially him. But,
they signed Freddie Freeman to a really big deal.
I mean, good for them for, paying the guy before, what would he have been? He would have been 27, I guess, whenever he would have been in free agency. So, yeah, good for him.
The Braves are 1-3. Obviously, my 162 game rule. Can't panic yet.
Yeah.
Yankees lost to the Tigers yesterday, though. Oof. Things are rough in the Bronx. Things are rough in the Bronx.
It's good news for the Bronx. The Red Sox lost.
They did. They were 1-5. Their run differential is -18 for the former or defending world
Yeah.
champions. Tampa Bay, who's leading the AL East? Tampa Bay and Baltimore.
It's so bad.
I don't-
Baltimore's supposed to be awful.
Yeah, they were 2001 odds to win the world championship. Give them the crown now.
Yeah,
Give
man.
them the pennant. They're going for it all. Bryce Harper last night makes his return to Washington with a rain delay, and the crowd throws boos at him, whatever. Starts off with a couple strikeouts from Scherzer. Then he goes, obviously, 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, and hits a home run back to Philadelphia.
See the bat flip?
The bat flip. Jason Colicchio says it's a little overrated.
I thought it was really good.
I think it's good because of the fact that he was in, here we go, the fact that he was in Washington.
Yeah.
Boom. Bryce Harper.
Do we get to see the bat flip? Hang on.
Maybe.
Come
Nope.
on.
They skipped the most important
They got to
part.
replay it. Here we go. Bat flip, bat flip. Look at that.
Boom.
Is that 4 or 5 full revolutions of the bat?
Let's
that is a
see
good
here.
bat flip.
1, 2, oh.
Ah, come on.
That bat flipped a lot more times than the Nationals won a playoff series.
Yep.
And it only had to turn once to do that.
But who would have thought that Bryce Harper got booed by Philly fans before Nationals fans? That just shows you how good Philly is.
Philly, they're raising, they're lifting Bryce Harper up.
Yeah.
It's good to see him finally in a real sports town. It's good to see Bryce Harper in a real sports town. I just have to say that.
Okay, yep.
I mean,
I'm not going to make Barrett.
DC
upset.
never had the process. The Eagles won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. I mean,
Yeah?
changed my mind. I mean, they haven't won a Punch Bowl hockey trophy in a while, but we're worried about baseball, football,
I'm trying to
and
look into the audio booth to see if I can see what Barrett's doing right now.
the 76ers are they're on their way up. So in all seriousness, it's good to see Bryce Harper. He's not the best hitter on baseball.
No.
He never will be. But he's a personality, and he's playing well for the 4-0 Phillies. And obviously 2 more games in Washington, but he's going to get booed for the next 13 years or whatever his deal is. They'll never not boo him in Washington. So we're going to take a quick break, come back and talk about everything going on in Oklahoma State athletics and why the Naismith Hall of Fame voters are terrible at their job. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They are also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided,
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back into One-on-One. We'll get into Eddie Sutton in just a second, but really quickly, the Cowboys last night, they fall to Central Arkansas, a bad midweek loss, 8-4 Central Arkansas. They've got West Virginia coming into town this weekend, but not a great midweek loss to a team that was well below 500 in Central Arkansas.
Yeah, it was ugly too. I think until like the 7th inning, it was 8-0, which it's just bad. Did you say on Monday that Central Arkansas had beaten Oklahoma State in the past couple of meetings, or is that with the softball? I can't remember.
OSU softball beat Central Arkansas.
Oh, okay. So, but that's a bad loss, and it doesn't make a lot of sense because they played so well in that TCU series to end it, and then you come out and basically lay a dud to a team that's nowhere near as good as you are, and then you hope they doesn't stick with them and they can just pick it right back up for Big 12 play. But just a weird loss. That
probably hurt their RPI quite a bit. But if they can get back in the win column, win another Big 12 series, it won't be much of an issue, but not a great midweek loss.
Yeah.
Tonight, the Cowgirls, obviously coming off a great weekend, beating a top 10 Texas team here in Stillwater, taking the series 2-1, take on UT Arlington down in Arlington today. UT Arlington beat the Cowgirls last year, so they've struggled with, the Tulsas, the Wichita States, kind of like the Cowboys do with Oral Roberts.
Yeah.
But UT Arlington, Cowgirls are a different story. I think they get a big win tonight. I think they'll probably run rule UT Arlington.
You hope so. Yeah, you hope so. We've been talking about it all year. You got to win the games that you're supposed to win. Obviously, Cowboys didn't do that yesterday. I think the Cowgirls will. I hope they run rule, and having another run rule would be awesome. It's in Arlington, so I don't know how great their home crowd is. Obviously, I doubt it makes that much of a difference, but hopefully the Cowgirls can keep on their momentum, unlike the Cowboys, and win this midweek game, and then go into Kansas, who I believe they're not last in the Big 12. Never mind, but they're not a great softball team, so hopefully they can take care of business whenever they take on Kansas in Stillwater.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting weekend to see what takes place. But obviously the Cowboys and Cowgirls, Big 12 series this weekend, and they need to win their series. Obviously the Cowboys are tied atop the Big 12 right now with Baylor, and the Cowgirls are second place behind the Sooners. So now let's jump into Eddie Sutton being denied for a 6th time from the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. What a travesty that they are excluding Eddie Sutton. What is your initial take on them leaving Eddie Sutton out of the Hall of Fame?
They've gotten it wrong for the past couple of years. I don't think he was a first ballot Hall of Famer because he had a lot of success, over 800 wins, went to the 2 Final Fours, but never got completely over the hump and never won a national championship. But he's a Hall of Fame coach. He has the resume. He has the wins. He has the success in the turn. He doesn't have the ultimate success, obviously, winning championship, but it's ridiculous at this point that he has been denied yet again. What was this? Was this the 4th time or the
6th time?
The 6th time. That's awful. It's a joke. The joke about the Basketball Hall of Fame is how easy it's supposed to be to get in. How can they get this wrong this many times? I'm trying to look at some of the teams or coaches that they have in here. I don't even know some of these people, Reed. They don't have the wins that Eddie Sutton has. They don't have the success that he has, yet they're in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what it's going to take. I hope that Eddie is still, alive when he gets into the Hall of Fame, because he will definitely make it eventually, but I'm afraid that they're going to wait till it's too late, that he can't enjoy it, that he won't be here to enjoy it, and that's a shame.
He's the only college basketball coach with over 800 wins not to be inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. 806 and 323, 3 Final Fours. Listen, what Eddie Sutton did at Kentucky as far as the violations and everything like that, what you think he's guilty of, what you don't think he's guilty of, fine, I don't care. Move on. The way the career ended in Stillwater, not great, but let's move on. You can't defend those things.
Right.
But when you have Roy Williams,
Bobby Knight,
whose players took paper classes and were not punished by the NCAA one time, they took paper classes. They had majors that weren't even real. Jerry Tarkanian Should we even get into that? Rick Pitino, pay for play? That's putting it nicely. Adolph Rupp was a segregationist, okay? Jim Calhoun, Jim Boeheim, Larry Brown, John Calipari, who just got a lifetime deal from Kentucky, has 2 Final Fours taken away. What you're doing to Eddie Sutton is a disgrace. You should be ashamed, and the fact that you can't get 18 people on an honors committee is a joke. Whatever grudge you have against him, you're petty and you're a small person if you are not putting Eddie Sutton in. He's 806 and 323, 3 Final Fours. He's not the greatest college basketball coach to ever live.
Right.
Okay? I'm not defending that. But whatever petty grudge they have against him is ridiculous. Everyone thinks he should be in. Rick Pitino, what that guy did? Terrible. John Calipari just got a lifetime deal from UK. Final Fours taken away. Roy Williams, paper classes.
Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight. I mean, that guy assaulted a player and a police officer. What are we doing to keep Eddie Sutton out? Sure, there's major frustration because we're at Oklahoma State, and we think he deserves to be in. He took this school to 2 Final Fours and revitalized the program. But it's an absolute shame that you continue year after year to leave him out. I think these voters should speak and give us a reason why they're not putting him in. I mean, there's something going on here. And unfortunately, Eddie Sutton is not in the best of health. This would have been a great opportunity for him to go to the Final Four, see his son, who's an assistant coach at Texas Tech. This is a great moment for the family. I think it's probably even harder on the boys than it is Eddie Sutton.
Yeah.
But this is a shame, an absolute shame that they continue to leave Eddie Sutton out of the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And there's nothing we can do, which is probably the most frustrating thing, because I think a lot of people would agree, even outside of this school, outside just college basketball people that know the sport, they know Eddie Sutton is a Hall of Fame coach. But for some reason, these 18 people on the honors committee don't get it. And it's so frustrating because you can just hope that they realize how ridiculous they're being for, like you said, whatever reason they're keeping him out. Because it's certainly not that he doesn't have a good resume. He has a great resume. Like you said, only college basketball coach with 800 wins, not in the Hall of Fame. I believe he'll make it eventually, but I really hope it's soon. I really hope it's next year. It should have been this year. It should have been last year. It should have been the year before that. It should have been a long time ago.
It should have been on the first try. It should have been. What an absolute disgrace and all he needs is 18 out of 24 on the honors vote. But when it happens, I don't know. I don't know if you give up hope. I don't know what you do. But it's an absolute shame, and they should give us a reason why. But it's time to take a 47-hour break. We will be back on Friday giving you an update on Oklahoma State athletics and everything going on in the sports world. Hopefully Bryce Harper has another bat flip that we can discuss. We will see you Friday. Thanks for watching One-on-One. We'll see you then.